Global tension. Russia's deadliest attack against the West in Ukraine. A Ukrainian battalion has been completely wiped out in a single devastating attack. Russia has launched what appears to be its deadliest strike since the beginning of the conflict in Ukraine. This attack has not only had a military impact, but it also seems to mark the beginning of a definitive turning point in the war. The Ukrainian sky is filled with NATO air ambulances rushing to evacuate the wounded and transport reinforcements. The magnitude of the strike is such that it has generated a strong reaction in both Ukraine and the West. According to the first images posted on social media, what appeared to be a building in the center of the country has been completely destroyed. The building, which was initially presented as a civilian facility, has subsequently been identified as a nest of foreign fighters, highlighting the seriousness of this attack. This September 3rd, Telegram channels in Ukraine were flooded with images and videos of a demolished building in a Ukrainian city, the name of which has been omitted for security reasons. Russian sources, for their part, did not hesitate to describe this attack as the most successful since the beginning of their military operation in Ukraine, stressing that the use of Iskander missile systems was key to achieving such precision and lethality. This incident has led many to wonder if we are witnessing a new phase in the conflict, one in which surgical strikes by Russia could be decisive in the balance of power. The attack has been so impactful that even Western media outlets like the New York Times have echoed the event, pointing out that the morale of the Ukrainian armed forces has been severely hit. This attack coincides with a forced withdrawal of Ukrainian troops in several key areas, which has generated a wave of concern among Ukraine's allies. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky has not hesitated to appear publicly, trying to downplay the impact of this attack in an attempt to maintain morale, both within his army and among the civilian population. According to official statements, around 180 Ukrainian soldiers were wounded and 41 died as a result of the attack. However, many experts agree that these figures are clearly underestimated and that the true number of casualties is significantly higher. As usual, Zelensky resorted to his media strategy of denouncing Russia before the international community. On this occasion, he accused Russian forces of attacking a building that, he said, housed a civilian educational institution. Despite this, the Ukrainian president did not hesitate to use this attack to request more aid in the form of weapons and financial resources from the West. However, two key facts contradict Zelensky's statements. First, there are a large number of images circulating on social media showing bodies of Ukrainian and foreign military personnel scattered around the attack zone. Second, days before the incident, Ukrainian forces themselves revealed that the building in question, located in the city of Poltava, was being used to train drone operators with the help of foreign instructors. This type of contradiction is common in the narrative of armed conflicts, and in this case, it has turned out to be a boomerang for Ukrainian forces. The Ukrainian authorities themselves previously admitted that on August 22nd, a ceremony was held in that same building where new military drone operators graduated, an event that was widely covered by the Ukrainian media. The presence of foreign instructors, coupled with the context of the attack, makes it clear that the target was not a simple civilian school, but a key military training center for Ukrainian reconnaissance and attack drone operations. Just 12 days after graduation, the building was destroyed by Iskander missiles. This attack not only claimed the lives of many Ukrainian soldiers, but also ended the presence of foreign instructors in the area. Ironically, the same Ukrainian propaganda that sought to raise the morale of its troops ended up revealing the location of a key military target, thus facilitating its destruction. These types of communication errors are costly in a conflict as dynamic and complex as the one in Ukraine. A similar attack occurred on September 1st in the city of Kharkiv, where the Target shopping center was hit by Russian missiles. As in Poltava, the Ukrainian government and local media were quick to denounce an attack on an alleged civilian target. However, days before the incident, the owners of the Target shopping center had issued a statement stating that the building had been taken over by forces of the Ukrainian Army's 3rd Assault Brigade, thus becoming a legitimate military target. Following the military occupation, civilians no longer had access to the building, and Iskander missiles turned it into rubble. Returning to the case of Poltava, Russian sources claimed that the building housed the 179th Communications Training Center, a key facility where drone operators were trained who then participated in attacks against civilian infrastructure in Russia. This attack has had a devastating effect, not only in military but also psychological terms. Ukrainian casualties include not only soldiers, but also communications and electronic warfare specialists who are difficult to replace. Estimates of dead and wounded vary, but images circulating on social media show a massive concentration of bodies in a small area. What makes this attack even more relevant is the message it sends. Russia has shown that it can attack strategic targets anywhere in Ukraine, from north to south and from east to west. No Ukrainian anti-aircraft system has been able to stop these attacks with Iskander missiles, let alone the hypersonic Kinzhals, which are virtually unstoppable. On the military front, Ukraine has suffered significant losses of equipment and troops, including tanks, armored vehicles, and HIMARS rocket launching systems. Meanwhile, Russian forces have continued to advance along the entire front line without diverting their troops to assist the incursion into their own territory. The morale of Ukrainian troops appears to be collapsing, and several high-ranking officials have resigned. The loss of an F-16 and one of its most experienced pilots has been another blow for Ukraine, adding to the energy problems the country continues to face. Faced with these challenges, many wonder if the countdown to a possible Ukrainian surrender has already begun. Will Ukraine be able to resist, or are we witnessing the beginning of the end of this phase of the conflict? The role of Vladimir Putin in the war. Let's explore the central importance of Vladimir Putin in the current war. Let's analyze his influence on strategic decision-making and the impact he has had on the development of the conflict. Since the beginning of the invasion, Putin has been a key figure, not only directing military operations, but also guiding Russia's politics and diplomacy. His decisions have shaped the international response and have had a significant impact on the morale and resilience of both Russian and Ukrainian armed forces. Putin's strategies, often shrouded in mystery and misinformation, have been the subject of intense scrutiny. As the war drags on, his role becomes even more crucial. A fundamental question then arises: to what extent can the decisions of a single man determine the course of a war that impacts the lives of millions of people? In this analysis, we will examine his public speeches, the international sanctions imposed on his regime, and the perception of his leadership inside and outside of Russia. Is Putin the cold and calculating strategist that many assume, or are there more complex factors influencing his decisions? Join us on this journey to unravel the intricate web of power and strategy surrounding one of the most controversial figures of our time.